Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I want to do something a little bit different. Today I will be reviewing a little bit a movie called Redeeming Love, and I will be sharing with you a very quick meditation that I was thinking about as I was reflecting on this movie. Now, why doing this video now? Well, because of the fact that this movie is actually based on a bestseller novel, one of my favorite books of all time by Francine Rivers. This book is called Redeeming Love, and I strongly recommend you to read it. It's an awesome read. Francine Rivers has written a ton of books, and she has this captivating and unique style to really allow you to enter into the story and to live it as if you are one of the characters. You can really sympathize and empathize with the characters. You can relate to them through the struggles, through the problems that they face and the difficulties. You can really identify with them. And her stories are always not just romances or novels, but they always share the hope and the truth of the gospel. The fact that there is a God out there that really cares for us, that loves us unconditionally. So even when we reject him, even when we hate him, even when we don't care about him, he still cares about us. And he wants to take all the sufferings, all the pains, the abuses, the guilt, the shame that we carry because of our past, because of mistakes, because of things that we have done in our life. He wants to free us from those things. He doesn't want us to leave us in that state, but God wants to free us from the things. He wants to give us his peace, his love, his purpose, his joy, and his salvation. He wants to redeem us, and he wants to save us. And this is the message of hope throughout Francine books. And now this book, very interestingly, is actually inspired by a book of the Bible, the book of Hosea. You can find it in the Old Testament. It's a minor prophet book. And exactly as in this book in the Bible, God commands Hosea to go marry a prostitute named Gomer, to have children with her, to keep her at home exactly as a wife. And then when she is unfaithful to him, when she runs away from the house, when she goes back to prostitution, God commands Hosea to keep loving her, to forgive her, to go gather and get her back. And this happens multiple times. And now this book is inspired because of the fact that the story is very, very similar. We have Angel and we find Michael. These are the two main protagonists. Angel is a prostitute. She has faced a very difficult and hard life. Her mother also became a prostitute when her father, when Angel's father rejected her. She eventually died. She became sick and she died. Angel was sold as a child, a slave, very, very early when she was like 8 years old. She became like a sexual slave of a pedophile. She was abused. She went into the world of prostitution. She was forced into it. And for this reason, she hates men. She hates herself. She is filled of guilt, of shame. And at the same time, she hates God, because how there can be a loving God that allows this to happen to her, despite her prayers when she was young, her prayers that she wanted her mother to be healed, not to die. How can this loving God allow her mother to be betrayed by her father, to be rejected by her father, to become a prostitute, or even herself to become a child slave and a child prostitute? And that's why she rejects God and she hates God. And she also hates herself for what she does. And she hates men, and he views men as only animals that only want to use her. She's very beautiful. She's a wonderful lady. And so she feels like men only want to use her as an object to fulfill their sexual needs, and that's it. On the other side, we have instead Michael Hosea. This man instead is a Christian man, a devout man that has a relationship with God, that regularly goes to church, that reads the Bible, that prays to God. And he's a farmer. He has a piece of land, he works the land, has animals. And he starts asking God, okay, God, I feel I'm ready. So show me when I will meet my wife. Show me who is the one that you want me to marry. And well, as you might have predicted, God commands and shows Michael to marry Angel. And at first, he's conflicted, like he can't understand, why are you saying that I might go, like she's a prostitute? Uh, and he doesn't really understand. He questions God. But then eventually he decides to obey anyway, and he starts courting Angel, and that's when the story starts. I don't want to give any spoilers. I just want to briefly talk about what I liked about the movie and what some things maybe that I would have added more to the movie. Now, talking about the movie, no, this is the book, this is the movie. Francine Rivers, it's written here that she helped with the screenplay, so in writing the movie. So I hope that they really talked to her in a way that she approved of the movie or how it was done. And now, what I really love about the movie is being able to see the characters coming to life. You know, when you're reading a book, you imagine the characters. Of course, you have certain features like the hair color or the height or the physique or the eyes, you know, the voice, all these things. But when you see it in a person, it becomes like more vivid. And Angel is very well portrayed. All the actors, even Michael, Paul, all the other secondary actors, they did a spectacular job. The only thing I didn't really like that much is that Michael, from the book, at least I expected him to be like, I don't know, bulkier or bigger. In the movie, he appears to be quite thin. So I don't know, I just had that feeling that, you know, a farmer would be, or at least in the book, he's described to be not like huge, but definitely like, I don't know, bigger. So I know that's the only thing, but all the characters did a spectacular job in portraying the characters as the director and all the people told them to do. Of course, you always have to remind this is a movie. So of course, in a movie compared to book, you can't put everything. You have to cut certain parts. You have to skip through dialogues and parts. So in that way, you have a 2-hour run time, and the movie works. So yeah, that's what I like about the movie. Also the score, so the music was very nice. All the environment also very good. It's because the movie is ambiented during the California Gold Rush, so in the mid 1800s. Now, I think they did a very good job in portraying, without having a fear to do so, in portraying, for example, the fact that one of the secondary characters is actually a pedophile, and he like abused Angel since she was 8 years old, and like he's a sicko. And they didn't really refrain for portraying prostitution, for portraying that word as it is. And I also like the fact that, as in the book, they didn't shied for portraying how Michael also is attracted to Angel physically. Of course, he knows that God has told him to marry her, and but at the same time, he's attracted to her as any other man. But he shows this understanding, right? And he controls himself. So, for example, he refuses to have sex with Angel for all the first time, and when they met, when he goes to meet her in the brothel, and also after he picks her up and he brings her to his home, and they become like husband and wife. Also, then in the first period, he refuses to have sex with her until she can start viewing sex in a different way. She doesn't view it anymore as just a physical act, something to please men, but that she completely stonewalls, but something that, as God designed sex to be, a wonderful experience between two partners where each one of them can enjoy and can have pleasure and find pleasure in the other. This is how God designed sex to be. So he refrains to have sex with Angel for a very long time, until she starts changing. She starts understanding the fact that Michael is different. Michael is not like the other man. That Michael is unconditionally loving her, despite the fact that he knows she's a prostitute, the fact that she rejects him and she does all the ways possible to escape from him, to just showing that she doesn't want to be there with him. But slowly, she comes to understand that Michael unconditionally loves her. And of course, the idea of the movie is to show how God's love is like Michael's love. The fact that God loves us in a way that is unconditional. It doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter what we do or what we don't do. It doesn't matter how we view ourselves or how we reply back to God. He unconditionally keeps on loving us. And this is portrayed very, very well in the movie. Now, one big thing that I didn't really like about the movie, to be honest, is the ending. Unfortunately, the ending, I think they condensed it way too much. I don't want to give any spoilers, but there is no analysis of what happens to Angel after she escapes from being abducted again. There is no insight on like her relationship with God, what happens there, and how she finally comes to understand God's love and accept God's love in her life and in her heart. And that is what truly redeems her. You see, the movie, in my opinion, becomes like kind of a cliche movie because of the fact that it looks like it is ultimately Michael that changes Angel, and that changes, like, his love changes her until she's completely like new and she's completely relieved from her past. But it's not really the case. It is God's love for Angel that does the work, does the job. Of course, Michael is an instrument, how God shows his love to Angel, but there is no way in which a human, another human being, love and his affection can redeem us, can make us new, and can take away all the pains, all the sufferings, all the shame, all the guilt from our past, from our mistakes, and from whatever we experience through life. There is no way that another human being can do that. Only God can do that, because God has always been with us. He has suffered with us, and that's why he's the only one that can truly redeem us. So unfortunately, throughout the movie, we never see the characters' introspection. So we never see the characters questioning themselves or arguing, especially against God. In the book, there is a lot of Michael being arguing against God, being angry against God, and also Angel, having her own internal conflicts. This is not shown through dialogue, but only through like scenes or through like expressions. So I would love to see if they could have added more of God, especially more about like Michael, for example, reading the Bible to Angel questioning him, or showing more about the fact that Michael is not just a Christian by name, but he really lives out. And even when Michael gets it wrong, because you see, Michael gets it wrong. Michael gets angry, Michael fails, Michael thinks that certain things he has to intervene. He doesn't trust in God. So Michael is not perfect. And that's also a main thing in the book. The Angel starts seeing Michael as God. And instead, God really wants to show himself to Angel directly, and showing that he is the one true God. He is the only one that can truly redeem her and love her. But yeah, overall, I would recommend you the movie. Of course, if you haven't read the book, you might find this movie a little bit cliche, especially the ending, because like there is no, other than certain scenes, there is nothing really input about God, what's happening between like Michael and God, between Angel and God, and so forth, or like Paul and God, like other secondary characters. And then until the end, when Angel is like desperate and she cries out to God, and she decides to take the courage to denounce the abductor Duke, this pedophile, the Sicko that I talked about earlier. It's like she only gets the courage to do so, and then that's it. Like it's like a supernatural intervention, and then there is nothing more to explore. So I think the movie, in the end, especially, it didn't really go a little bit deeper in analyzing that, in analyzing the change in Angel's heart. But yeah, it is what it is. Probably they couldn't have afforded to do more, but still, it's a very nice story showing how God's love for us is unconditional. God keeps loving us no matter what we go through, no matter what we do, and he's always ready to welcome us with open arms when we turn back and we decide to cry out to him and we decide to trust in him. And yeah, so this is a very wonderful movie. Again, I recommend you to watch it. But more importantly, if you can read the book, read it, because it's gonna be a wonderful read. And I hope and I really think that God can talk to your heart. He has done with me. God has been able to show to me more how to love others, because this is an area of my life where I struggle. I sometimes struggle to show love or to unconditionally love others, my brothers and sisters, other people. And this really allows me to empathize more. It's so important to empathize with other people, because we don't know what they're being through. We don't know the struggles. We don't know what they have lived. And so we should never be too quick in judging or condemning, or I don't know, maybe saying, yeah, this person is a sinner, or this I don't want to do anything with this person. No, I'm gonna just distance myself. Always be open, always be ready to share God's love through us, exactly as Michael shows God's unconditional love to Angel. That's how we as Christians, we're supposed to show God's love, unconditional love, to anyone that we meet. So this is an area that I'm working more, and especially against the new generation, against younger people that are so deceived, many different things. They don't really know what to believe, and they are just like wondering, right? And it's so important to empathize with them, to show them, see, your struggles, I've also lived them. I can understand how you feel. I'm not condemning you. God is not either condemning and judging you. God wants the best for you, and His truth is the only thing that can set you free, and that can really give you purpose, and that can really give you that peace, that joy, that love that you're trying to find. He's the only one that can satisfy that. And it's so important that we don't forget about that, especially like in our modern days, when we tend to be too intellectual. Sometimes I tend to be too intellectual and not really empathize more with people. So yeah, I really recommend you to read the book, to watch the movie, and then let me know what you think about it. Thanks for watching. God bless you. See ya. Bye bye.